on, this video is all about you. You need to come and sit with me and introduce yourself. This is Fletcher, and we've been to 10 countries around Europe. You lucky boy. And Fletcher's actually having a film made about him today, and he is the scruffiest he's ever looked. He's well overdue a groom right now. He's having a groom this week, and yeah.
You're just taking after your daddy, and you're just a bit of a long hair day.
Growing your hair long.
Just grow your hair out. Why not? Be the shaggy dog, you know?
I'm going to be covering today everything you need to know about travelling with your dog, because we get so many questions on a weekly basis asking advice about travelling with a dog. And we have spent the last year, I can't believe I'm saying a year, travelling in the van, and Fletcher has come absolutely everywhere with us. Travelling with a dog, he is literally like, this whole trip revolves around him. So we're going to give you a few tips, some information about what is required when travelling to multiple countries, and yeah, everything that we can basically share with you to make your trip easier and show you how easy it is to travel with your loved ones.
Isn't that right, Puddin'? It's all about you today. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
We asked you guys what questions you had for us, and we've also added in a few bits as well. So, you got my list of questions, babe. Ask me your first question.
What is needed to take your dog across the border?
Okay, so all dogs need their animal health certificate. It used to be a pet passport, but since Brexit, we are no longer part of the EU, which means that we now have an animal health certificate. This piece of paper right here is very important, and it only lasts for 4 months. What you need to do before you travel is go and speak to your local vet and ask them for an animal health certificate. Now, this piece of paper can set you back around about 120, 150. We've even heard some people had £200 for this piece of paper. It is all very dependent on your local vets just to put this piece of paper together. And what it is it has all of their documentation on there. It also lets you know what vaccinations that they've had in the past. So it's very, very important to be able to travel with this. Now, one thing you need to know when you're sorting this out is once this is issued to you, you only then have 10 days to leave the country. So bear that in mind when you're coming to plan your trip, is to organise this piece of paper so that once you've collected it, you are leaving within those 10 days. To be honest with you, we tend to pick up this piece of paper and then we leave the next day. We always book it in with our vets that we pick it up, we get it all signed, and we leave the next day or two. Now, one thing dogs need to leave the UK is a rabies jab. Now, we got Fletcher his rabies jab before we went to France for the first time, and it lasts for 3 years. That's the particular jab that he's had. I believe there's certain different rabies ones you get, so make sure you ask your vet how long it will last for, but ours lasts for 3 years. So once they've had their rabies and they've got this piece of paper, they're good to go. I'm also just going to mention, coming back into the UK, you will have to get page 4 filled out by a vet somewhere in France or wherever you're coming back to the UK from. And what they need to do is fill out the bottom section on page 4 and issue a tapeworm tablet for your dog. You cannot come back into the UK without a tapeworm tablet. Now, we've been very, very lucky. It's been so easy. All you need to do is wherever you are, is look in your local area, type on Google Maps vet, then head to that vet and ask them if they're happy to issue a tapeworm treatment for your dog. We haven't had any problems with this so far. We've been very, very lucky. The vets have been incredible, and it's going to cost you around €50. From our experience, that's what it's cost, but again, it can vary with different vets. A little tip is to just ask the local vet how much it's going to cost before you have the treatment done, just to kind of give yourself a chance that they're not going to charge you through the roof. This tablet needs to be taken at least 24 hours before you leave Europe, and it also can be done up to 5 days before. So It's got to be between 24 hours and 120 hours. Within that period, they need to have a tapeworm treatment before they travel back to the UK. Like I said, it's always been so easy for us. There's so many amazing vets in Europe that will be able to issue this for you. Just either pick up the phone and ask them if they're happy to do it, or just pop by a vet, and we've always been able to be seen straight away. There is a particular requirement that is needed for the tapeworm treatment. It needs to have a specific ingredient to cover against a specific tapeworm. I'm going to pop it on the screen because I cannot say the names of it. So just make sure that you speak to the vet and make sure that whatever product they're using is going to cover you for that. And then when you get to your border, whether it's for the ferry or for the Eurotunnel, they will want to see this piece of paper. They will check that it's all been filled in on page 4 here for them to be able to come back into the UK. And you're good to go. Easy peasy. How do you deal with stray dogs?
The countries we have been to, we have not encountered any stray dogs at all. We have been to France, Netherlands, Luxembourg, Germany, Austria, Italy, Switzerland. So yeah, we have not come across any stray dogs. So for us, that's been absolutely great. I know, and we have seen other van lifers come across these stray dogs, but until we actually get there, I'm not actually too sure how we are going to deal with it. How did Fletcher find the crossings?
So we've actually done 3 different crossings to Europe so far. The first one was
Plymouth to Roscoff
on the ferry. Now that is a 5.5 hour journey on the ferry, and you've got 2 options with a pet. You can either leave them in the vehicle, which means you cannot go down to that vehicle at any time to check on them. They have specific attendees that will keep an eye on the area and make sure the dogs are okay, but you cannot physically go down and see them. Or you can pay extra. I think we paid £50 extra, and you can get a pet friendly cabin, which is what we went for.
Yeah, the cabins are really good. They come with a sofa at either side, shower, a whole complete bathroom, which was really good. Fletcher is not allowed to walk around the boat, but there is a really good designated area where you can go outside. They can do all of their business. There's a little hose pipe and a brush just to brush it all away or pick it up and put it in the bin. So that was really good, wasn't it?
Yeah, and do you know what? He was absolutely amazing.
Oh God, yeah.
Wasn't he?
He fell asleep with me on the bed going over. We are an hour in now to our ferry trip. As you can see, Fletcher is totally relaxed now. It took him a minute to begin with because we had to muzzle him from the car up to the cabin, but since he's been in the cabin, he's had a good sniff around. But yeah, living your best life now, aren't you, mate? He was absolutely good as gold.
Yeah, he absolutely loved it. So I would say that's definitely one of our favourite ways to go, is to have that pet-friendly cabin, because they can just be with you at all times. Now, they did have a rule on Brittany ferries that the dogs need to be muzzled when they're travelling around the boat and from the car to your cabin. We did buy a muzzle, and we recommend everybody to have one with you. Fletcher did not like
He absolutely hated it having it on, but we would have stuck it on him if we really had to.
Yeah, we did, in fact. We did the very first time.
When we first brought him out, we did have it on him, but we got to the bottom of the stairs and it was only up a flight of stairs and along the corridor. So to be honest, I did pick him up. I dropped the nozzle under his chin and just carried him to the room. No one said anything, no dirty looks or anything like that. And once he's in the cabin, he's with us. Yeah. So yeah, that's mainly just to get him from the car to the cabin.
And we actually only took the muzzle off him because there were so many other dogs there with no muzzles on.
Yeah.
So I think these guys are like regular travellers and they just don't. But take one with you anyway, because it does stay on their website that dogs need to be muzzled. But we haven't had to muzzle Fletcher since. We just make sure we carry him in our arms.
And if you guys are in a van, you know what I mean, you just store it somewhere, as long as you've always got it with you, because you may find it's going to come in handy on other parts of your trip. You might have to get on a train where you might need it or something else. So it's definitely worth having. I think there was one
country, wasn't there? Was there a country we went to and it said the dogs need to be muzzled on the train?
Yes, there was actually.
We didn't go on one.
No.
We didn't do it, but we did see something. I can't remember. But anyway, that was number 1, was the ferry from Plymouth to Roscoff, which was amazing. The second one was
my absolute favourite. That was the Eurotunnel. That Eurotunnel is so amazing. You literally drive up, you go through your border control, you can wait, you can get a coffee, you can go in and get something to eat, and then you drive onto the train. 30-35 minutes, you are in France. It was the smoothest, easiest crossing I've ever done.
And the dogs stay inside the vehicle with you in the Channel Tunnel, which is amazing. So the three of us just sat in the vehicle. Fletcher was absolutely fine with that. When you get to check in for the Eurotunnel, there is a specific area that you need to go and check your pet into. It's just a separate building where you go in and they'll want to see the dog and look at their animal health certificate.
Yeah.
And then our third and final one that we've done so far is the Calais to Dover ferry coming back from France.
You would have seen that one last week in our video. We were majorly delayed, we ran out of gas, but the actual ferry crossing was brilliant. They had an awesome pet lounge with like leather sofas all the way around, massive areas where you can put your dog's bed in for your dog to chill. Yeah, that lounge was amazing. They had free water, they had cans of Pepsi for free, a whole coffee machine,
Dog
absolute
treats.
loads. Yeah, dog treats. They had it all in there.
They
So
did.
that was-
This ferry is only an hour and a half long, so there's two options for you. There's one where you can actually leave the dog inside the vehicle, which we did contemplate doing because it's only an hour and a half. Again, you cannot go down to check on them, but we've got a camera in our van that we could have kept an eye on him if we wanted to. Or you can do, like Chris said, the pet lounge that we did, which was only £6 per adult to go inside, and we highly, highly recommend that.
Yeah, it
don't
was
we?
lovely and clean, as I said, and there was again another outdoor bit where they could supply you with dog poo bags and things like that. Pick up your mess and you just wash down any wee or anything. Absolutely brilliant.
I don't think we saw anything about muzzles on that ferry,
No,
did we?
no. I didn't see or I didn't read it because that one is a P&O ferry. That one
Yeah.
we got on.
Yeah.
I know there is a couple of other ones from that Calais to Dover port, but
Yeah.
we just got the P&O one.
Checking in for this ferry is super, super easy as well. They just have a little look at the animal health certificate before you leave. They wanted to make sure that obviously we had that tapeworm
Yep.
treatment before we left, and then they just waved us through. So
Then you go through about 3 borders with your passports.
Yeah.
It's here.
and Fletcher definitely made everyone fall in love
He
with him
did,
at
yeah.
the pet passport control, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fletcher was amazing on that one as well. You'll see in the footage that he literally just fell asleep on one of the sofas and absolutely loved it.
And on your lap, and you fell asleep.
Yeah.
It was decent.
To answer that question, guys, because we always like to ramble, is that Fletcher has been amazing on every single crossing we have been on. There hasn't been one that we've gone on where we thought we'll never do that again. They're all really, really well set up for animals and travelling with them. You can either get a cabin, you can leave them in the van, you've got the lounges, or you can simply go on the Channel Tunnel and have them in the vehicle with you. So that sums up ways of travelling with your dog. Do you find Europe more dog friendly?
More dog friendly. I'm not sure if it's more dog friendly, but I wouldn't say it is any less than the UK. Every city, every town, every little place we went to, there was a place for us to sit down with Fletcher. There was no restrictions on him, like not being allowed anywhere. Obviously, in the summer, there was a certain beaches around the lakes you weren't allowed on, but it never stopped us actually doing anything. Most restaurants we went to, he was allowed to come in with us. He's quiet. We put a small blanket out with him just so he's got that bit of comfort, and he does settle really, really well. I think the lifestyle we live, he has adapted to it amazingly. But going back to the question, is it more dog friendly? I would say it is on par with the UK. There are obviously certain places when we are visiting the bigger cities that he isn't allowed to go into. Like, he's not allowed to go into the churches and things like that. So normally one of us will just wait outside, the other one will go in, take some pictures, have a good look around, and then we'll swap. So it does restrict you in a way, but he's a great travel companion to have with us. What documents do you carry to travel with Fletcher?
So of course the animal health certificate, which is so important and so valuable, but I also like to keep a copy of his insurance as well. Always with your pet insurance, make sure you double check your terms and conditions and just see if they're covered abroad in Europe. Fletcher, we added on a package for him that he is covered for Europe for a time of 90 days at a time, which is amazing for us. That's very important to make sure that your insurance covers you for Europe, and I keep documentation for that and take that with us. I always recommend as well, guys, is to always have a digital copy as well, because as you know, traveling in a van, things could potentially get lost, stolen or misplaced, and this piece of paper is so valuable, so I really recommend having a digital copy saved as well. We use an incredible app called Fio. It's completely free to use. You'll absolutely love it. It's a great place to be able to store all of your documentations securely, safely and simple to use. So yeah, I would definitely recommend having a copy of it on there as well They have different drawers for all of your different important paperwork, and they actually have a pets drawer, which I love, and in there's a place for you to store your health certificate, their vaccinations and their insurance. So I make sure that I have a digital copy of all of them saved in there for when we're traveling, just to be safe. I think that is all of the questions that we were asked for traveling with a pet. We're going to finish off by giving a tip each that we would recommend to you guys when traveling with a van. I'll go first. My top tip is, like Chris mentioned earlier, is always travel with one of their dog blankets. We have a dog blanket in our rucksack and we take it everywhere with us, so that if we're on the train, if we're on a public transport, or if we're in a cafe or a restaurant, we can pop that blanket down and Fletcher just knows it's a place that he can feel safe and secure, and he's with us. It's got all of his familiar smells on it, and it's just been incredible. It's lovely that if we're traveling along on the train, I pop the blanket next to me on the train and he can snuggle up with me in the seat, and then I don't have to worry about him being on their seats. And yeah, it's an amazing way for him to be able to just feel like home wherever we are.
And my top tip is just to enjoy it and embrace having your dog or whatever animal you are bringing with you along for the journey, because they are really not as much hassle as you think, and the experiences, the joy they bring you when they are travelling, it is absolutely magical. And he loves all the food that we have when we go to the cafes, we go to the restaurants and things like that. So he's just living his best life, and if we can give him his best life, that's all that matters. And when it comes down to the paperwork and all the documentation and things like that, just get yourself a wife like Sam and you don't have to worry about it. All I've got to do is take him with me so he enjoys the journey.
But in all seriousness, guys, like, I know sometimes the paperwork, and you look online and you think about the requirements, it might seem really daunting, but I can assure you it is really straightforward. So I really hope the information that we've given you in this video has made you realise that it's so simple to do. And yeah, if you've ever got any questions, please don't be afraid to reach out at any time. Either drop a comment in this video or feel free to DM us, and we'll be more than happy to answer any questions and help you, because it's been the best travelling with Fletcher. And yeah, it's a lot easier than you think. Where's been your favourite country then? Anywhere where there was some snow?
So yeah,
Luxembourg. You love the snow.
So I loved Luxembourg, Mum. I loved
all the lakes in all the different Austria and Switzerland. You look so tired.
You're a stinky. You're a stinky.
Oh, we love you. Yeah, we do.